Good morning, everyone. Wow, that was inspiring, wasn't it? Yeah. It is amazing to think of what the interconnected community can do for software development, right? Like, think about strangers from across the world coming together, collaborating and building amazing things and even creating human progress, right? That's so powerful. But with that power, there's also a need for responsibility. We've got to build software that is secure and trustworthy because the strength of this community is built on trust, right? We have to trust each other. And the software that we're building is for a purpose. It's for our users, right? And our users need to be able to trust that software and trust us. So the challenge of open source security and trust isn't some abstract thing. It's something that we all need to take a part in. And for sure, there are challenges. Let me tell you a story. This is the story of something called Event Stream. Event Stream is a node module. It's used in tens of thousands of projects, including in a lot of enterprises. And Event Stream is maintained by one developer, an amazing developer who builds a lot of other popular software projects. And one day, he got approached by another developer who offered to make Event Stream better. And of course, he accepted that offer, right? It's what you do in this open source community. When people want to help you, you trust them. But this person was a malicious actor. And what they did was they put a vulnerability into Event Stream. And they got it published. And they did it actually very cleverly. They put it in a dependency and made it very hard to detect. And it took almost a month for that issue to be found. And in that time, the package got downloaded millions of times. This could have been a disaster, except that they decided to do a very specific attack. They didn't attack everyone. They attacked one app that was using Event Stream. It was a Bitcoin wallet app called Copay. And sure enough, Copay picked up that package. They ended up having to deal with their users and send them warnings. But it could have been a lot worse, right? And these kinds of challenges are going to happen. And not just because there are malicious actors out there, but because of us, because we're humans, right? Humans make mistakes. And when those lead to vulnerability issues, we need to deal with them. So we can all use better tools to help us do that. Now at GitHub, we believe that the power of that interconnected community that helps you build software also helps you build more secure software. If you think about all the people involved in this, right, in keeping stuff secure, you've got researchers who are finding issues, maintainers who are having to go fix them, developers who are having to stay on top of their dependencies and pick up those changes, and then security teams who are kind of keeping an eye on it all. We need to help everyone collaborate better so we can be more secure. And I want to share today some of the tools that GitHub is providing to help do that. So let's start with developers and administrators. Now, in November 2017, we released something called Security Vulnerability Alerts for GitHub. With this, GitHub now actually scans all of your dependencies continuously, compares them against vulnerability data, and sends you an alert whenever you've got a vulnerable dependency. And because we're GitHub, we can do this on a planet scale. So in just the last 12 months, we have actually sent almost 27 million vulnerability alerts to developers. Now, you're probably wondering how many of them actually got addressed. We'll talk about that later. But if you don't have vulnerability alerts signed up today, you can go to GitHub and sign up. But I'm also excited to announce today that we're now generally making available GitHub vulnerability alerts for GitHub Enterprise Server. So with this, even if you're doing local development on your server, you can connect to GitHub and you can get the same alerts to help keep your code secure. I'm also excited to announce today that we're partnering with WhiteSource. And WhiteSource is an industry leader in vulnerability data. They collect vulnerability data from lots of different places. And thanks to WhiteSource, we are now making that vulnerability data available through alerts in GitHub. So we're very excited about that partnership. Now, alerts are great, but what if you want to keep on top of all of your dependencies, right? GitHub Dependency Insights helps you do that. Think of GitHub Dependency Insights as a full overview of all of your dependencies. So you can go and understand each dependency. You can go look at what's changed there, who's working on it. You can get this overview of all of the security state of your dependencies. We're also including license information so that you can actually understand your license compliance state of all your code. So Dependency Insights is kind of an essential tool for developers and security teams and compliance teams to work together to understand the security and compliance state of your software. And it's available today. Now let's go ahead and look at how bugs get found and fixed. Now at GitHub, we've got a dedicated team that works on security issues. It's an amazing team. But if you've got an open source project, right, for a maintainer, this is a hard problem, right? Because if a security issue comes in from somewhere, all of a sudden this interconnected community becomes a very dark place, right? You've got to go race against time to go investigate the issue, figure out what happened. You've got to go figure out a patch, get that patch built and tested, get it out there, issue an advisory, and all the time, you're hoping that you don't show up on Hacker News, right? Right? It's not fun. Is it fun? No. So what you need is better tools to do that. And today, we're announcing a set of tools to help you. So first, how does a security researcher find you? Well, in the industry, there's a convention for this. Every big project has it. It's called a security policy. It helps researchers understand how to disclose bugs responsibly to you. Now you can have a security policy too, because we're building that into GitHub. So with GitHub security policy, you can now author a security policy for your project, or you can author it for your entire org, and it will automatically cascade down to every repo. And now researchers know how to work with you. That's an important first step. Now, once you've got that, what happens when an issue comes in, right? Like, what you'd like to do is you'd like to go to a nice place with the people you trust in a private environment and be able to investigate that issue. And you can now do that with something called maintainer security advisories. Let's take a look at how it works. So a new issue comes in, and what I can do is go ahead and create something called a draft advisory. This is something new in GitHub that we're announcing today. So once you've done that, what you now create is this kind of entire private workspace where you can work on the problem. So you can invite in the people you trust, maybe that security researcher that filed the issue. You can go discuss, you can go investigate in a completely private space. When you're ready, you can create something called a temporary private fork. This is a completely private fork of your code that is available only to the people that you invite. And now you can work with them on a security issue. You can build and test the patch. You'll get a unique Git URL, so you can use it with your Git tools. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and merge that pull request back into your code. We also provide a set of tools to help you author that advisory and submit it to GitHub. And when you do that, we'll take care of the rest for you. We will publish that advisory, and voila, there's a published advisory ready to go. So what we're doing with this set of tools is really helping build security best practices in open source. And that's good for everyone, right? So with these tools and working together with our great security vendors such as HackerOne, we want to build these kinds of security best practices directly into GitHub. Now, organizations like the CNCF have a bunch of custom security tools today, and they're going to be switching to using a lot of our GitHub tools, and we're going to be working with them. But you can have these tools too, because our maintainer security tools are going to be available to every single open source project for free. So now let's get to the hard part, doing those patches. Yeah? Now, it turns out the industry data shows that more than 70% of vulnerabilities actually remain unpatched for 3 months. A lot of them go over a year, and you've probably seen some news stories about this, right? We can do better, right? So we went looking at how people have tried to solve this problem, how people are dealing with it. What we actually found was a number of partners in our ecosystem have tried to already go solve this problem. And one of them is Dependabot. So Dependabot is a product that takes a great approach to trying addressing this problem of patching vulnerabilities. So to tell us more about it, I'd like to invite the co-founder of Dependabot, Gray Baker, to the stage. Gray? Hi, Gray.
Hi, Shanky.
So tell us about how Dependabot came about. What was the problem you were trying to solve?
Well, in 2004, I was working at a startup, and one of my jobs was managing our dependencies. We were a payments company, so we really cared about stability. But we also didn't want to end up on outdated or insecure dependencies. We wanted all the great features that maintainers are pushing all the time. And what we decided was that the best approach was to update our dependencies little and often. So we always knew exactly what we were deploying. They were always just small changes. The problem was that that required me to create dozens of pull requests to update our dependencies every single week. And they were beautiful pull requests. I was pulling in the change log, any release notes that were there, but it was tedious manual work creating them. And that's what we built Dependabot to solve.
So you built a bot to automate yourself, right?
Yeah.
So tell us what happened next.
Well, we used the GitHub API to build this bot, and it's basically like having me on your team updating your dependencies for you. So every day, Dependabot checks whether or not you're using the latest version of everything that you depend on. And if you're not, then it opens individual pull requests to update you. I think we've got an example pull request to show.
Yeah.
So in that pull request, you can see it's just doing a very small update. It's a patch, and it's pulled in the change log, the release notes, and in this case, because it's fixing a vulnerability, details of the vulnerability that's being fixed. The idea is to make that pull request as easy to merge as possible.
So if I make a change, everyone who's using my code now gets a pull request with the change and all the information they need to be able to accept that pull request?
Yeah, exactly. So if you're a maintainer and you push a new version, then pretty soon Dependabot will create pull requests for everybody that's using it to update to that version. And we've had over 500,000 of these pull requests merged just in the last year, including by some fantastic customers who have really helped us along the way. We're grateful for all the feedback from folks at Webpack, Mastodon, and many others.
Wonderful. Now, there is one pull request that I think you and I are very excited about.
Yeah, there is.
Shall we show them?
I think we should.
All right. I am super thrilled to announce that Dependabot is now a part of the GitHub family. Welcome to GitHub, Gray. And that's not all, is it?
It's not. We couldn't be more excited to be joining GitHub. And we've got a feature to announce for everybody today, which is that we've built automated security fixes. So now, whenever you receive a security alert from GitHub, you'll also get a pull request to fix that insecure vulnerability.
Awesome. How does one sign up?
Automated security fixes are available today. You can opt in from the repo settings page on any repo. They support all of the languages that security alerts support, and we'll be rolling them out to everybody over the next 2 months.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gray.
Thank you, Shanky.
So this interconnected community we have, we believe that using that power together with great tools helps us write more secure code, be able to use other people's code with more confidence, and ultimately build applications our users trust. And today, we're giving you a set of tools to do that, and we want to continue to work with you. Thank you.